going, guys? It's Deathmonk here. Today we're going to be talking about the controversial Modern Warfare 2 UI UX interface in-game, as well as what you expect to see like during the match, during different during like multiplayer missions and things like that, and what you expect to see, what we've managed to find in the menus. So basically, for those who don't know, it's a little bit clunky in places. People like the vertical view as opposed to the horizontal view. But let me know what you guys thought of this in the comments box down below. Now, according to It's Harrison, or Harrison Makes Things on Twitter, he's actually managed to redesign the user interface for the inventory backpack system in Warzone 2. He's done like the multiplayer menus and things like that, so we're going to take a look at this today. So he says he's redesigned the inventory backpack system for Warzone 2 to be a little less clunky. So as you guys can see, he's got like various different like resource loadout items, small backpack. Now this is, I'll be honest with you, I quite like that design compared to what we've currently got in game. He's also managed to somehow redesign the buy station menu. Now this is his own version of it. Again, let me know what you guys thought of this in the comments box down below. So we're going to be taking a reaction to one of his videos on his YouTube channel. It's only got 100 subscribers. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button on his channel. And I'm going to make sure you guys drop a like. I will leave this link down in the description. So without further ado, guys, let's check this out.
Modern Warfare 2 is a really good game with great gameplay mechanics. The world graphics, the weapon modeling, audio design, and gunplay as a whole are a step above Modern Warfare 2019, which were already quite good. In most aspects of the gameplay, Modern Warfare 2 took what made Modern Warfare 2019 great, and it was evolved naturally. The big problem is that the user interface, or UI, hinders the gameplay whenever possible. It's too busy, too complicated, and just plain counterintuitive to the game. They decided to reinvent the wheel with the UI instead of taking the same natural evolution approach that they took with the gameplay. The barrier to entry in the game is higher than it's ever been, despite its gameplay being better than ever. With the gameplay, there are several noticeable adjustments that clearly cater to a newcomer of the series by lowering the barrier to entry. Casual players can do very well in the game with this evolution of the formula. Footsteps are very loud, which favors getting easy kills by sitting in corners. The new perk package system is designed to make perks feel less important, which makes the game more accessible to a player that doesn't want to have to consider trade-offs in perk categories.
I couldn't agree more with that.
The problem is that while the gameplay has become more friendly to a serious newcomer, the UI design is friendly to nobody. This is because while the gameplay has taken the natural evolution approach, the UI design tried to reinvent the wheel for no reason through poor design, and thus it raised the barrier to entry for everyone.
Looks like we're going to be starting off with the lobby, it looks like here, guys. Let's check this one out.
The most noticeable, and by far the worst change to Modern Warfare 2's UI, is that most of the menus have opted for a horizontal layout rather than a standard vertical list. The information is presented as large boxes with pictures or icons. Because of this design, less information can be shown at a time. With game modes, we can see 3 at a time. With loadouts, we see 6 at a time. It's very counterintuitive, and it makes looking for anything at a glance take a lot longer. Game modes, weapons, or cosmetic items take so much longer than they did in previous games. My concept with the lobby takes the approach of natural evolution in UI design. First and foremost, I will always opt for a drop-down vertical list format.
I agree with that.
It's a lot more intuitive. It makes sense. On the left side of the screen, we have our game modes. The challenges box has been moved to the right-hand side of the screen in order to communicate visual hierarchy.
Makes sense.
The middle shows you, the player. On either side, we have supporting information on what the player can do. On the left, we scroll through the games we want to play. On the right, we see supporting information. The goals we can complete in the game, the message of the day, and our XP tokens, and our countdown. This really isn't, nor does it claim
Now, the only criticism I'm probably going to give for this is the double XP Battle Pass remaining time. Personally, I would more or less put it up here, or put the XP tokens up here, just to get a little bit more square and a bit more clean, but that's just my opinion, guys.
Claim to be a totally original idea. The fact is, though, it's very intuitive. During the most popular time in gaming, March 2020, everyone I know played Warzone, and they got familiar with the game. Over 125 million people have played 2020. Everyone I know played Warzone, and they got...
Right, if you guys look here, now, with this specific UI, this is from Modern Warfare 2019/Warzone 1. Now, if you look at the HUD down in the bottom left here, the text is really hard to read. I personally think they should have probably chosen a different text. However, the
got familiar with the game. Over 125 million people have played Warzone. Utilizing a refined version of its lobby UI lowers the barrier to entry and puts key information where millions of players already expect it to be.
Social tab. This looks questionable.
Speaking of Warzone's success and huge player base, let's talk about the social tab. During the last 2 years of Warzone, I've made a lot of friends. Everyone knows Call of Duty is a friend-oriented game. Everything's more fun with a buddy to play with. In fact, Call of Duty knows just how valuable teammates are. One of Modern Warfare 2's taglines is, "The ultimate weapon is team."
I agree.
The problem with that, though, is that I can't figure out how to play with my team. Modern Warfare 2's social tab is very poorly laid out. It's kind of inexplicable. I want to join my friend Paul's game. To do that, I press R3 like the UI tells me to. There, I'm greeted with names I've never even heard of. They're definitely not my friend Paul. This is the social hub, a totally unnecessary menu that shows me players I'm not familiar with. After a little while of digging, I realized that there's a separate friends tab.
Right, I'll just go back to that hub tab just for a moment here, guys. What is the point of a hub? Yeah, if I was to look for my friends list, I expect to look at my friends list first, not go into a hub to look at just random people that you've never come across before. So I completely agree with what this guy said.
After a little while of digging, I realized that there's a separate friends tab. Here, we get to scroll through, again, 4 big boxes that only show 4 of my 67 friends at a time. It's gonna take a while to find my friend Paul. Here's my concept. Let's scrap the hub entirely. It's pointless. It doesn't make sense.
Agreed.
My social tab shouldn't go straight to totally foreign names.
Thank you.
Very rarely do I care about players I've been in a game with. Instead, the social tab will show our friends first and foremost. Like the lobby, key information moves from left to right, establishing visual hierarchy. In the middle, we see the player we're currently selected on. It's my friend Paul. On the right, we have supporting information about Paul. Wow, he's level 200 already? He really must be enjoying his new PC. Below that, we can see that Paul's still in the game of Battle Royale, so I've got a minute to wait. At the bottom, we can see the usernames of the players he's partied with. So if I'm not feeling like playing with donkey brains tonight, I don't have to. With this new concept, the ultimate weapon truly is team.
That makes sense. Makes sense to me. Loadouts. Now this is probably going to be the questionable one out of the lot here.
The loadout menu in this game is just plain difficult to use. Like the game modes and the friends list, we can only view a certain amount of loadouts at one time, as opposed to seeing the full list. Did I make my ghost loadout? Well, maybe, but I have to add 10 seconds to find out. Most of the people I play with hop between a bunch of different loadouts. Sometimes we go between using baby monitors and stims. Sometimes we want to change our primary gun to a new one, across the board. With this horizontal layout, all of that takes a lot longer because we have to scroll through 6 at a time, as opposed to seeing the names of every one of our loadouts at once. To change that, I've taken the graphic style of Modern Warfare 2's current system and brought it back in line with the traditional vertical layout. This means it's much easier to see at a glance what I'm running on each of my classes individually. It's a minimal redesign, but it makes a world of difference functionally.
Now, I get what he's saying as a part of seeing things more at a glance. The only criticism I'm going to give to that is, even though Modern Warfare 2 has 12 custom loadouts, you still have to scroll down to find it, if that makes sense. So I get what he's saying with the vertical display. It's just more or less the same thing, to be quite honest with you, but I want to know what you guys thought of it in the comments. Warzone. Okay.
No one can deny that Infinity Ward's ambition with their game is very impressive. Within a month of Modern Warfare 2 being out, we now have a campaign, multiplayer, Spec Ops, DMZ, and of course their favorite cash cow, Warzone 2. I play a lot of Warzone. I can usually tell pretty quickly when I'm not gonna like something. This time around, the map is solid. It's beautiful. There are a couple of gameplay changes that are a little more questionable. I'm looking at you, AI and backpack system. However, these sort of big picture ideas are going to take me more time to tell if they're inherently good or bad changes. One thing we can all agree on though, is that the UI and the HUD are a major step back from its previous state in Warzone 1. I think this was done in order to make Warzone 2 feel different from Warzone 1's final state. I get that their bottom line is to demonstrate how Warzone 2 is a totally new game, but the HUD as it stands is a major step back. Here's how we can change that. Let's bring back the player HUD from its previous state. It worked perfectly. It should properly show all of my information. My plates, gas mask, field upgrade, and my self-revive. Likewise for my teammates. It removes the unnecessary complication of having to ask if my teammate has a gas mask or a kill streak on them. To take it a step further, we could be able to see our teammates' backpacks so that we can view everything they have to offer to the team. This would solve a lot of the huge problems about the HUD and the new looting system as a whole. Additionally, the pinging system is a major step back from Warzone 1. The pinging sound is a lot worse, it's quieter, and it's more unclear as a whole when teammates are pinging. The pings in-game are literally white, so there's almost no contrast.
Exactly.
Here's a quick idea. Let's make this more similar to Warzone 1. Bright ping colors, based on your assigned player color. Here's another idea. Let's have the option to choose our player color, so my squad will always know who's the orange player and who's the blue player.
I'm going to hold it there. Now, I get what he's saying with the custom colours. My concern with those custom colours is if you happen to be pinging somewhere, let's say the custom colour was green, and they actually pinged on an area that's more or less forest or grass, and obviously green on top of green is going to be more or less hard to notice, if that makes sense. So I get what he's saying to actually allow you to change what colour you want to be, but to do that every match and to actually encounter someone who's actually got the exact same ping colour as yourself, I got mixed opinions on that one. Let me know what you guys thought of in the comments.
Take. I'm not totally against the 2v2 gulag, if done right. I'll admit, it's actually been really fun to come together with an enemy and take on the other enemy team. My main issue with it though, is that it's really unclear to me who's winning in the gulag. This wouldn't be a huge issue in a casual game mode like Gunfight, but in the gulag, it's fast action that can dictate the entire outcome of my match, since regaining is a lot harder in this mode. To simplify things, there should be 2 health bars at the top, instead of all 4 of our names. Just like Gunfight from Modern Warfare 2019 and Black Ops Cold War. In this fast-paced gameplay, I should see if I'm the sole fighter very, very quickly. As it stands, all 4 gulag contestants are shown at the top. When one of us dies, the name is crossed out in a blood effect. It's super hard to tell at a glance. This change would help a lot. Additionally, I don't like how my gulag teammates' health bar isn't shown. we have an alliance together right now. We're on the same team. When you're in your Gulag match, the player HUD should be replaced with your alliance mate. This makes our odds a lot more clear when timing and speed is everything.
Now I'm just going to rewind that just a little bit here, guys.
Gulag team.
Now, this is the guy's custom-made version of the HUD for Gulag. Now, let's just say that it is a 2v1 at the moment, and let's say the last guy in the enemy team takes 80 damage off me and 30 damage off my teammate, and obviously, of course, you'll be left with, trying to do maths here, there's 60 damage. But the trouble is, if you got it like that, how are you supposed to tell who's got the more health and who's got the least? So that's where I'm a little bit questionable. But if we go back to the current design, if it was up to me, I'd have put their health bars all just underneath their names and made it a little bit more clearer to read. That's just my personal opinion. Again, what's your thoughts in the comments?
Just like gunfire,
let me know.
it's crossed out.
I
could go on about the looting system all day, but I'm sure it's going to get ironed out in time. The community obviously isn't responding very positively towards the looting changes. One easy change that would help me a lot though, is the ground loot information box becoming clearer, just by changing the font and some of the colors. In Warzone 1, it's very easy to see what I'm highlighted on at a glance. In Warzone 2, the colors don't have very much contrast, and the font is a slim, uppercase sans serif title font. It takes a minute to read when I'm hovered over. When fast looting is key, I need to be able to read what gun I'm about to pick up very quickly.
Now, I don't think it will really necessarily make much difference. Now, this is his idea of the font. Personally, I don't think it actually, no offense to him, but I think it looks better like the way it is, because if you're making like a big massive font like he wants it to become, hang on, let me just see if I can find the other font that he just made. So this is of course from Modern Warfare 2019, and this is how it currently is right now.
Uppercase sans serif title font.
But if
it takes a minute to read when I'm hovered over. When fast loot.
But if you change it to that, it's going to take up a lot more space. And let's say you just change the angle a little bit, and it happens to be on, like, let's say a shelf, and this extra space, like right here, could be in the way of where the actual enemy could potentially be peeking around the corner. It's obviously going to be hard to see. So
looting is key. I need to be able to read what gun I'm about to pick up very quickly.
Scoreboard.
Finally, I can't stand the scoreboard being tied to the minimap and having to scroll over to the right. Maybe instead, we could bring it back to how it was in Warzone 1? I like to look at my kills very quickly, and adding the extra step of having to open the TAC map and scroll seems like a very unnecessary change.
No disrespect to him. I personally prefer the minimap, because it's going to take lots of people will be more interested in like how close they are to the next zone, where they want the next zone, where the next zone is. I don't think it's really important to put the scoreboard on. Now, I get what he's saying about the scoreboard, however, I would prefer it the way it is. I think map is more important to look at first over the scoreboard. If it was up to me, I would still maybe put like the kills, maybe like a certain area on the HUD, maybe next to the maybe next to your actual name, saying how many kills you've got. But again, what's your thoughts? Let me know in the comments box down below. So that's pretty much it there, guys. Again, I want to know what you guys' thoughts are. Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you soon with another video. Make sure you guys give How's Makes Things a shout out. Like I said, I will link his Twitter account and his YouTube video down in the description. Make sure you guys check them out. Drop a like, hit the subscribe button if you're new, hit the notification bell so it's upload, and I'll see you in the next one. Till then, peace out.